Hello and welcome to another Inertial Drift tutorial video. In this video we're going to be looking at the Supreno, also known as the AE86. So the stats for the Supreno very much tell the full story of what the Supreno can do. Barely any acceleration, best top speed in the game. On tracks where it's able to make use of that top speed, Supreno is completely unmatched. Would be most point-to-point tracks. Or, sorry, not point-to-point tracks. Supreno's trash on that. It's most circuit tracks. Though the Supreno is actually competitive on Mount Kirino forwards. This is because, eventually, because the track's so long, it is actually able to get up to that top speed and start catching up to the Raptor on that track. So, I will say as a word of warning, I'm not actually that good at driving the Supreno. It's one of my weakest cars in the game. But I at least know enough about it to talk about how to drive it and what makes it good. And I do have some decent Supreno times. But yeah, so the experience of this car is you start off way behind everyone else, and then you show up in their rearview mirror. Just like Takumi. And that is the experience of this car. So, again, Supreno will win most point-to-point tracks, especially something like Lakeside Loop. Like, no other car can compete with Supreno on Lakeside Loop, because the rolling starts it gets are so crazy good. But for showing it off, I'm going to be showing it off on Bay Bridge Run. As you see here, yeah, I do have a time up there. It's alright. It's not good, but it's alright. But Diver at the top there is probably the best Supreno player in the world. And unfortunately, I'm not quite at that level. I'd love to be someday, but I'm bad at Supreno. So this track is good for Supreno because you have these huge straightaways, and it's a circuit track, which always benefits Supreno because it can get sick rolling starts. But also, none of these sections here are actually that slowdown heavy. Like, you're only slowing down to about 210, 220 stuff. And because of that, even though Supreno is very low acceleration, it's not low enough that it can't recover from that. On some circuit tracks, such as Sunset Sea Circuit, where you do actually have to decelerate a lot, then Supreno really struggles compared to Raptor. So there are a few circuit tracks where Raptor does actually win. But generally, if it's a circuit track, it's a Supreno track. And so the main goal of Supreno is to just keep speed through these corners. You don't really want to be using the brakes because you can actually like increase your drift angle to whatever you want without braking. But if it's a shallow corner, just hold down the stick and the gas at the same time to build that angle up. If it's a steeper corner like these, then let off the gas and then start holding down the drift stick, and that will sort of charge a drift, and when you get back on the gas, the drift will be let out. It's a weird thing to get used to. The Chrono is also the same way. Chrono in a lot of ways is sort of like the little brother to the Supreno, sort of like a diet Supreno. As you can see, I'm not great at driving it. I'd love to be better, but hopefully this gives you the idea. And as you can see, these rolling starts it gets are just, there's nothing like it. Raptor can't do this. Raptor can't start this fast because it can't even get that fast. But as you can see there, the biggest problem with the Supreno is it's very difficult to drive and very punishing. Whereas something like the Raptor, if you hit a wall, you'll get back up to top speed pretty quick. With the Supreno, it's actually going to take a very, very long time. And so Supreno is a lot about memorizing angles to get the actual drifts you want. And it's actually very, very tricky because the increase in drift angles from letting go of gas is very, very quick. And even beyond that, it's very easy to, like, I don't even know what I was going to say. The increase in drift angle is very, very quick. And because of that, in addition to the fact that you actually don't see the angle of the drift until you actually let on the gas again. It's very hard to judge how steep of an angle you're going to do until you actually do it. What I was going to try and say and messed up there. You can see there, for example, I held it down for way too long. And because of that, I spun out and slowed down a shit ton. And that is something that will take just muscle memory. I can't tell you anything to help with that because it's all in the timing. And that's something you're only going to learn if you just do it over and over again. Fail and fail and fail until you actually get it. But once you do get it, I'd say the Supreno is one of the coolest cars in the game. I wish I could show it off better, but I really haven't had the chance to really sit down and learn it like people have, like Diver have. Unfortunately, Diver doesn't really make videos. So I'd love to be able to just point to a Diver video and say, this is how you Supreno. But that doesn't really exist, unfortunately. But hopefully the showcase I'm doing here is enough that at least you sort of get an idea of how it works and how to use it. But there's much more to it than I'm showing off, and it's really not the best showcase, but it's the best I can do. And hopefully it helps. If you have any questions or you think I missed something, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you and goodbye.